Palestinian militants have resumed rocket fire on Israel after Israeli aircraft hit Islamic Jihad targets in Gaza overnight. It's the fifth day of fighting that has claimed at least 30 lives, all but one of them Palestinian. The Palestinian Health Ministry also says an Israeli raid has killed 2 Palestinians in the West Bank. Egypt is pressing ahead with mediation efforts for Gaza, but a truce remains elusive.
Rescuers rushed the injured from the scene of another Israeli strike on Gaza City. Women and children fled the apartment building where Islamic Jihad confirmed another one of its high-ranking commanders was killed. The Palestinian militant group is listed as a terrorist organization by the European Union, United States and others. Israel says its air force has attacked hundreds of Islamic Jihad positions in the Gaza Strip in recent days. Some residents denied their homes had been used by militants.
After the noon prayer, they called me and asked me to leave the house and alert the neighbors. They called from a private number and said they will fire a warning missile. And they did. 5 minutes later, the warplane struck, as you can see.
Much of the Gaza Strip has been deserted and shops have been closed for days as residents seek shelter.
We really need a truce. I'm a worker. If I work, I get food to eat. If I don't work, I will have nothing to eat. I really hope to reach a truce. We need it. The airstrikes and bombing are terrifying. We can't sleep and we have lots of children. Hopefully they will reach a truce because we're really tired of this.
More than 800 rockets have been launched at Israel from Gaza in recent days. Most have been intercepted by the Israeli Iron Dome defense system, but one fell near Bat Ayin, south of Jerusalem. In another strike on Thursday, an Israeli man was killed in Rehovot, a town near Tel Aviv. International pressure has so far failed to produce a truce. But Egypt, a frequent mediator between the sides, is continuing its efforts to bring about a ceasefire.
And for more on this, we're going to talk now to DW's Rebecca Ritters in the Israeli city of Ashkelon, close to the Israel-Gaza border. Rebecca, what's happened this morning?
Well, after a pretty quiet night, Nick, around 5 a.m. this morning, the sirens started up where we were. We're in Ashkelon. We're just a few kilometers from the Gaza border. There was some crossfire rockets coming, some rocket fire coming from the Gaza to the surrounding areas. We've had confirmation from the Ashkelon municipality that several of these border towns were targeted, although no casualties and no damage have been reported. At the same time, the IDF have been continuing their airstrikes. What they're saying to Islamic Jihad positions within Gaza. So some back and forth tit-for-tat fighting continuing. It's actually the first time that things have started so early in the morning in the 5 days of this recent flare-up. But definitely things continuing. Attempts at a ceasefire, which were looking hopeful last night, have broken down. So that ceasefire looking a little bit more elusive today, but things a little bit quiet. A funeral for one of the commanders that was killed yesterday, the Islamic Jihad commanders that was killed, the sixth so far in these 5 days of fighting. The funeral is being held for him at the moment, so there is a chance that things will pick up once that is over. But for the moment, as it stands right now, things pretty calm.
And Rebecca, what does all this mean for mediation efforts?
Well, as I mentioned, the ceasefire talks were looking pretty hopeful last night, or some cautious optimism, I should say. They're being led by Egypt. They started pretty much as soon as these hostilities flared up again on Tuesday, and they have had moments of up and down. There were a time on Wednesday where we thought that there might be a breakthrough, and again yesterday both sides were handed a fresh agreement, and they were being asked to look at that agreement. Now the sticking point still is Islamic Jihad saying they're not going to agree to a ceasefire unless Israel promise to stop the targeted killings of their top commanders. Now that's something that so far Israel are not agreeing to. So we have a sticking point there, and the ceasefire talks continuing today, but not finding any middle ground. so far.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca. DW's Rebecca Ritters for us in the Israeli city of Ashkelon.